Fasten your seatbelts, knowledge roadsters, because we're about to embark on an exhilarating journey through the lanes of learning. It's me again, Permit Quiz Liz, and today we're not just peeling through the layers of the DMV handbook, we're actually going to merge the worlds of the written permit test and the in-car license exam. That's right, my drive-minded spectators. Today your intellect meets the open road. It's the perfect blend of brain power and horsepower. We've got 30 actual DMV permit test questions that also apply to your driver's license road test. So adjust your mental mirrors, accelerate your aptitude, and let's rev up those test-passing engines. Let's get started with a few permit test questions that cover drive test concepts you need to know before you ever get moving. First question. To help you manage sun glare while driving, A. Only drive during sunrise and sunset. B. Keep the inside and outside of your windshield clean. Or C. Keep in mind that pedestrians will be easier to see. The correct answer is B. Keep the inside and outside of your windshield clean. Glare from the sun can make it hard to see while driving, and a dirty windshield only makes matters worse. So take it from me, get your windshield both inside and outside the car nice and spotless with a little glass cleaner. Your eyes and the DMV examiner will thank you. Okay, next question you might see on your permit test that'll also come in handy when you're behind the wheel. You should adjust your rear view and side mirrors, A, before you get into the car, B, before you start driving, or C, after you start driving. And the correct answer is B, before you start driving. Always double check all of your mirrors whenever you get into your car and adjust them if needed. Adjusting your mirrors after you start driving is not only dangerous, but it's also a great way for you to fail your test. Next question. You must use your seatbelt, A, if the vehicle is equipped with seatbelts, B, unless you are riding in a vehicle built before 1978, or C, unless you are riding in a limousine. The correct answer is A, if the vehicle is equipped with seatbelts. Hopefully by now you know that you should always put on your seatbelt before driving. But here's a little drive test tip. Make sure your passengers are safely buckled in too before you start moving the car. That's right, those crafty DMV examiners have been known to purposefully leave their seatbelt off when they get into your car. Show them you know your stuff by respectfully asking them to buckle up before you start the test. Nice. These next 3 permit exam questions are all about curbside parking, which is a very crucial part of your behind the wheel test. When parking next to a curb, you should use your turn signals, A, only when pulling away from the curb, B, when pulling next to but not away from the curb, or C, when pulling next to or away from the curb. The correct answer is C, when pulling next to or away from the curb. Did you know that when you are curbside parking, you are parking in a parking lane, whether it is marked or not? If you keep that in mind, then you'll never forget to use your turn signals when entering or leaving the curb, because when you do, you are technically making a lane change. And anytime you make any sort of lane change, you need to remember to smog. Signal, mirror, over the shoulder, go. So let's recap. You smog into the parking lane when curbside parking, and you smog into the driving lane when pulling away from the curb. Now you know. This next question will also come up on your drive test, because right after curbside parking, the DMV examiner will ask you to reverse along the curb. When you back up in a passenger vehicle, A, rely on your rear view mirror, B, only use your side and rear view mirrors, or C, look over your right shoulder through your rear window. The correct answer is C. Look over your right shoulder through your rear window. While you can use your mirrors to assist you when you back up, most of your vision should be directed over your right shoulder and out your back window. And don't fall in love with your backup camera either. The DMV examiner wants to test you on your ability to reverse the car in a straight line without the aid of technology. Your camera only gives you a partial view of the situation behind you, and there might come a day when your camera doesn't work. So you need to know how to back up safely the old school way, by looking over your right shoulder. And one more curbside parking question you need to memorize. When you park on a level road next to a curb, A, your wheels must be within 18 inches of the curb, B, your front wheels must be turned towards the side of the road, or C, you do not have to set your parking brake. The correct answer is A. Your wheels must be within 18 inches of the curb. When you park alongside a curb on a level street, the front and back wheels must be parallel within 18 inches of the curb. If the street you are on has a gutter, then you're usually good as long as your tires are touching the gutter line. Pro drive test tip: err on the side of being too far away from the curb rather than too close. If you are over 18 inches away from the curb, it's just 1 point off your test. However, if you hit the curb, you just struck an object, my friend, and that is an auto fail. We're already in the neighborhood, so let's continue with this gem that you should have memorized on your first day of driver's ed. Unless otherwise posted, the speed limit in a residential area is A. 20 miles per hour, B. 25 miles per hour, or C. 30 miles per hour. The correct answer is B. 25 miles per hour. According to CVC section 22352, prima facie speed limits, the speed limit is 25 miles per hour on any highway, in any business or residence district, unless a different speed is determined by local authority or the Department of Transportation under procedures set forth by this code. In other words, the speed limit in a typical residential neighborhood is 25 miles per hour. Half of your in-car test is on residential streets, so make sure you don't exceed 25 miles per hour unless posted otherwise. Keeping it residential, this next one trips up a lot of test takers, both on the permit test and the road test. You are driving and there are oncoming cars on your left and a row of parked cars on your right. You should steer A, closer to the oncoming cars than the parked cars, B, closer to the parked cars than the oncoming cars, or C, a middle course between the oncoming and parked cars. The correct answer is C, a middle course between the oncoming and parked cars. While your gut might tell you to drive closer to the parked cars than the moving oncoming cars, the correct action would be to split the difference and choose a middle course between the two obstacles. Parked cars can be unpredictable, and an unexpected door swinging open or a hidden pedestrian emerging can be just as dangerous. When the road is tight, slow down your speed a bit and steer evenly between the oncoming and parked cars. This next one is a classic and is definitely part of Driving School 101, so make sure you know it, not just for passing your DMV test, but also for real life, because this one happens a lot. You reach an intersection with stop signs on all four corners at the same time as the driver on your left. Who has the right of way? A, the driver on your left has the right of way, B, you have the right of way, or C, whoever is signaling to make a turn has the right of way. The correct answer is B, you have the right of way. When an intersection is controlled by stop signs in all directions and two vehicles arrive at the intersection at the same time, the vehicle on the right, that's us, has the right of way. While you never want to insist on your right of way, you also don't want to be overly nice for no reason and give up your right of way. Part of the art of driving is knowing the right-of-way rules and following them. When it's your turn to go, other good drivers want you to make your move and not hold things up by hesitating or not exercising your right-of-way. If it's your right-of-way and the coast is clear, then go with confidence. Drivers everywhere will thank you for it. Speaking of right-of-way rules, let's talk about the king or queen of right-of-way, the pedestrian. If a pedestrian is in a crosswalk in the middle of a block, A, the pedestrian must yield the right-of-way, B, vehicles have the right-of-way but drivers must legally take care for the pedestrian's safety, or C, the pedestrian has the right-of-way. The correct answer is C, the pedestrian has the right-of-way. When in any crosswalk, whether it is marked or not, the pedestrian has the right-of-way. While pedestrians on the roadway don't have the right-of-way outside of the crosswalk, it is still your responsibility as a driver to always exercise due care for pedestrians. In other words, just because you might have the right-of-way doesn't give you the right to run over a pedestrian who's in your way. On your DMV test or in real life, you should always yield to pedestrians because it is a safe thing to do. Whether they are walking in a marked crosswalk or not, you must always yield to them. If you are in a parking lot, yield to pedestrians. Even if a pedestrian is jaywalking in the middle of the street, you should yield to them. One more time, and please say it with me loudly and clearly, always yield to pedestrians. But technically speaking, and for your permit test, remember, in any crosswalk, the pedestrian has the right-of-way, whether marked or not. Defensive driving will also be a big topic on both the written knowledge test and the in-car driving test. If you are already a defensive driver, then these questions should be easy for you. If not, time to up your defensive driving game. Question: you drive defensively when you A. always put 2 car lengths between you and the car ahead, B. always keep your eyes moving to look for possible hazards, or C. look only at the vehicle in front of you while driving. The correct answer is B. Always keep your eyes moving to look for possible hazards. A good defensive driver is an alert driver who is always anticipating the unexpected. Don't zone out while you're driving. Instead, keep your eyes active, always scanning the road and checking your mirrors, looking for any potential hazards that may be coming your way. Next defensive driving question. Check your rear view mirrors, A. only on a freeway or highway, B. often to see how traffic is moving behind you, or C. only when you are slowing down. The correct answer for this one is B. often to see how traffic is moving behind you. Part of being a good defensive driver includes knowing what is happening all around your vehicle, including behind you. And using your mirrors frequently, using quick glances, is the way to go. If you have the desire to suddenly brake, it's always good to know what's behind you first. If you are being tailgated or a large semi-truck is directly behind you, you might think twice about coming to an abrupt stop unless you absolutely have to. Another defensive driving question must know: looking down the road to where your vehicle will be in about 10 seconds helps you to A. enjoy the scenery, B. avoid last-minute moves, or C. see hazards inside your car. The correct answer is B. avoid last-minute moves. By looking down the road at least 10 seconds ahead of your vehicle, you'll be able to see potential obstacles far in advance, giving yourself plenty of time to make driving adjustments. If you are only looking at the road directly ahead of you, you'll be putting yourself in danger by having to make last-minute moves as hazards catch you by surprise. Good defensive drivers look at the big picture by looking further down the road at least 10 seconds, which is about a block or two depending on how fast you're traveling. Want to be a defensive driving savant? Then know and understand this DMV question. When driving on a multi-lane street with two-way traffic, A. drive alongside the other vehicle so the drivers can see you. B. you should drive ahead of or behind the other vehicles. Or C. it is safest to drive in the lane next to the center line. The correct answer is B. you should drive ahead of or behind the other vehicles. Keeping a space cushion around your vehicle is an important key to avoiding collisions. This includes keeping space to the sides of your vehicle too. Also, it's not smart to drive right alongside another driver where they won't be able to see you because you are in their blind spot. So instead, drive ahead or behind other vehicles where they can easily see you and will be less likely to make an accident-causing lane change into you. Permit Quiz Liz with Drivers Ed Direct here with a very serious question to ask you. Can you please like this video and subscribe to our channel? It would seriously make my day. And please drop us a comment too. We appreciate and read all of them. Thank you so much, and let's get back to the show. A big part of defensive driving know-how is understanding when you need to know what's behind your vehicle, as illustrated by this DMV test question. 3 of the most important times to check traffic behind you are before A. backing, making a sharp turn, or crossing an intersection, B. changing lanes, crossing intersections, or slowing down quickly, or C. backing, changing lanes, or slowing down quickly. The correct answer is C. backing, changing lanes, or slowing down quickly. This question should be pretty easy if you just think it through. If you are unaware of what's going on behind you when you are backing, changing lanes, or slowing down quickly, you're setting yourself up for more than just a test failure. You're asking for an accident. Obviously, you need to know what's behind you before you back up. Likewise, you need to be aware of the situation to your rear when changing lanes or slowing down abruptly. Both of these actions, if done unsafely, could impede another driver's progress and cause you to be rear-ended. Moving on, we couldn't talk about the DMV test without bringing up blind spots. Many a driver has failed their test because of failure to check them, so please take notes on these next 2 questions. To see cars in your blind spots, you should A. look in the inside rearview mirror, B. turn your head, or C. look in the outside rearview mirror. The correct answer is B. turn your head. Your blind spots are the areas next to and behind your vehicle that you cannot see using your mirrors. You have a blind spot to your left and to your right, and checking them is done with a quick glance over your shoulder by turning your head. Let me repeat that. Turn your head, not your entire body, which is unnecessary. And always make your blind spot checks quick glances. If you stare over your shoulder, you'll be missing out on the potential dangers ahead of you. Now that you know your blind spots, let's talk about lane changes. Which of these is the proper way to change lanes? A, signal, check your mirrors, then change lanes. B, signal, check your mirrors, and look over your shoulder before you change lanes. Or C, check your mirrors, look over your shoulder, then change lanes. The correct answer is B, signal, check your mirrors, and look over your shoulder before you change lanes. If you've heard me talk about smog before, and you probably have a million times, then you know it is the handy-dandy acronym you use to remember all the steps you need to execute for any lane change. Signal, mirrors, over the shoulder to check your blind spots, and go. Anytime you make a lane change on your drive test, perform every part of smog to make sure you don't lose any points. Okay, time to transition to a more lighthearted topic. Well, a more traffic lighthearted topic at least. Aren't these jokes just the worst? Anyway, on to traffic lights. You are at a red traffic signal. The traffic light turns green, but there are still other vehicles in the intersection. You should A, wait until the vehicles clear the intersection before entering. B, move ahead only if you can go around the other vehicles safely. Or C, enter the intersection and wait for traffic to clear. The correct answer is A, wait until the vehicles clear the intersection before entering. Many people mistakenly think that a green light means go now, but it really means go once the coast is clear. When your light turns green, don't just hit the accelerator. You must wait for all the traffic already in the intersection to completely clear first. Once the intersection is clear, then you may go. This is a good one to know for your in-car test too. When your light turns green, always look left, right, left to check that traffic is clear before you enter the intersection. Next traffic light question. When you are in a dedicated turn lane controlled by a green arrow, which of the following is true? A, all vehicles or pedestrians in the intersection must yield to you. B, you may turn in the arrow's direction without checking traffic. Or C, all oncoming vehicles and pedestrians are stopped by red lights. The correct answer is C. All oncoming vehicles and pedestrians are stopped by red lights. The green arrow allows you to make a protected turn. This means oncoming vehicles, bicyclists, and pedestrians should be stopped by a red light as long as you are seeing a green arrow. However, even when you get a green arrow, this does not mean that you should assume that all other traffic will yield to you. You still need to check for traffic and pedestrians before you go. I guarantee that at some point in your driving life, another car or person will violate your right-of-way and you'll have to yield to them even with a green arrow. This next question topic will come up again in a bit, but for now, let's keep it very simple. What is the difference between traffic lights with red arrows and those with solid red lights? A, red arrows are only used to stop traffic which is turning left. B, you cannot turn on a red arrow even if you stop first. Or C, red arrows are only used for protected turn lanes. The correct answer for this one is B. You cannot turn on a red arrow even if you stop first. You can make a right turn against a solid red light if no sign prohibits it, and after you stop and yield to pedestrians, bicyclists, and vehicles. More on that later. However, a red arrow light is telling you stop and don't even think about going until I turn green. The takeaway, never, ever, ever, ever turn against a red arrow. Ever. Anyone care for some tea? Or at least some T intersection trivia? Here you go. Two vehicles are approaching an uncontrolled T intersection. One vehicle is on the through road and the other is on the road that ends. Who has the right-of-way at the intersection? A, the vehicle on the through road. B, the vehicle on the right. Or C, the vehicle that arrives first. The correct answer for this one is A, the vehicle on the through road. On your road test, you will have to navigate a T intersection, and you better know the right-of-way rules if you want to keep up that perfect score. If you are on the part of the T intersection where the road ends, then you must yield to traffic on the through road. When you yield, you should slow down and be ready to stop if necessary. But if there is no traffic or pedestrians, then you don't need to stop and you can roll through your turn slowly and smoothly. Perfect. Also on your driving test, you will most likely have to negotiate a curved road. Knowing the answer to this question will help you pass both tests. You are approaching a sharp curve in the road. You should A, start braking as soon as you enter the curve, B, accelerate into the curve, or C, start braking before you enter the curve. The correct answer is C, start braking before you enter the curve. Reducing your speed before entering a curve decreases your chances of losing control of your vehicle and crashing. Always remember the basic speed pattern for handling any curve. Slow down before the curve, cover the brake and coast through the curve, and then accelerate out of the curve. Next question, and this one is a rules of the road doozy. You are crossing in an intersection and an emergency vehicle is approaching with a siren and flashing lights. You should A, stop immediately in the intersection until it passes, B, pull to the right in the intersection and stop, C, continue through the intersection, pull to the right and stop. The correct answer is C, continue through the intersection, pull to the right and stop. Life's not always fair, and you may be one of the unlucky test takers that hears the sirens from an ambulance, fire truck, or police car during your driving exam. But never fear. If you know what to do and don't panic, it's actually a great opportunity for you to show your DMV examiner that you're a true pro. When you see or hear emergency sirens, safely change lanes to the right if possible and stop your vehicle. Except if you are in an intersection. If you are in an intersection, clear the intersection first and then pull to the right and stop. If you can remember that, you'll be a much more knowledgeable driver than most people on the road today. Speaking of road rules, here's one for speed control. You are driving on a road where the speed limit is 45 miles per hour. All the other vehicles are driving 50 miles per hour or faster. You may legally drive A, 50 miles per hour or faster, the speed of traffic, B, anywhere between 45 and 50 miles per hour, or C, no faster than 45 miles per hour. The correct answer is C, no faster than 45 miles per hour. Driving faster than the posted speed limit on any road is dangerous and illegal, and anything dangerous and illegal is definitely grounds for an auto fail. On your road test, assuming driving conditions are ideal, keep your speed at or a few miles under the posted speed limit. With that in mind, don't go ridiculously slower than the speed limit. If you go 10 miles per hour under the speed limit and there's no good reason for it, you can also earn an auto fail for impeding the progress of normal traffic flow. Now you know. Your behind the wheel test will involve at least 4 right turns, and your permit test will be filled with plenty of right turn questions too, starting with these 2 questions. This is also a good lesson on how sometimes one question on your written test can be used to help answer another question. So please soak up a little test taking strategy here as well. First question, you are about to make a right turn. You must signal continuously during the last blank feet before the turn. A, 50, B, 75, C, 100. Correct answer is C, 100. And if you got that one correct, then this next one should be a no-brainer. You want to make a right turn at an upcoming intersection. You should slow down and A, move toward the left side of your lane, B, avoid driving in the bicycle lane, or C, signal for 100 feet before turning. The correct answer is C, signal for 100 feet before turning. So if you didn't know, now you really know. You must signal for at least 100 feet before making a right turn. In fact, before any turn, you must signal for at least 100 feet first. And make note of the wrong answer B, avoid driving in the bicycle lane. That'll help you answer this next right turn jaw dropper. When can you drive in a bike lane? A, during rush hour traffic if there are no bicyclists in the bike lane. B, when you are within 200 feet of a cross street where you plan to turn right. Or C, when you want to pass a driver ahead of you who is turning right. The correct answer is B, when you are within 200 feet of a cross street where you plan to turn right. When making a right turn, drive close to the right edge of the road and turn from the lane closest to the curb. If a bike lane exists, safely change lanes into it and make your right turn from the bike lane. Try not to enter the bike lane until the lane line becomes broken and for no more than 200 feet before the turn. And as always, make sure you have your turn signal on for at least 100 feet before you take your turn, if not more. Many inexperienced drivers avoid the bike lane on their drive test right turns, but doing this will earn you an auto fail. If it's safe and clear, always merge into the bike lane before your right turns. Continuing the right turn train, this next one should be easy to solve given the previous question. To turn right from a highway with 2 lanes in your direction, turn from A, the lane closest to the center of the road, B, the lane nearest the curb or edge of the roadway, or C, either lane depending on oncoming traffic. The correct answer is B, the lane nearest the curb or edge of the roadway. One more time for good measure. To make a right turn, drive close to the right edge of the road and turn from the lane nearest the curb or edge of the roadway. If there is a bike lane, drive into the bike lane no more than 200 feet before the turn, and always complete your turn in the rightmost lane. This next permit test question is a huge deal on the drive test and a cause for much debate. You may turn right on a solid red light, A, only after stopping and yielding to pedestrians and bicyclists unless otherwise posted, B, only after slowing down and checking traffic, or C, under no circumstances. The correct answer is A, only after stopping and yielding to pedestrians and bicyclists unless otherwise posted. While you can never turn right against a red arrow, you can indeed make a right turn on a solid red light if no sign prohibits it. While making a right on a solid red light can be perfectly legal, the question on your drive test becomes, should you do it? That's entirely up to you, but we recommend against it unless you are 100% confident in the traffic situation and really know your rules of the road. If you don't stop completely before the crosswalk before attempting your right on red turn, you just failed. Also, if you make an ill-timed right on red, you can set yourself up for another auto fail, either by blocking the crosswalk when a pedestrian comes along or by impeding the progress of another vehicle if you turn into their lane and they have to slow down because of you. If you're even a little unsure if it is safe to make a right on red, we recommend that you just wait for your right of way to happen when the light turns green. We would be remiss not to include a tough left turn question, and this last question is a great one to know for your permit test and your drive test. You want to turn left ahead. In the middle of the road, there is a lane marked as shown. You must A, merge completely into this lane before you make your left turn, B, turn from your current traffic lane after signaling, or C, not enter this lane for any reason. The correct answer is A, merge completely into this lane before you make your left turn. A center turn lane or center left turn lane is in the middle of a two-way street and is marked on both sides by 2 painted yellow lines, solid outer lines and broken inner lines. Both directions of traffic can use the center turn lane to begin a left turn or to finish a left turn. On your DMV test, you will be asked to make several left turns, and there's a good chance one of them will involve a center turn lane. If so, you must use it correctly to make your left turn. First, you'll merge into the turn lane safely like you would for any other lane change by doing a full smog. And once you're in the center turn lane, you'll make your left turn when there is a safe gap in oncoming traffic and no pedestrians or obstacles in the crosswalk or driveway that you're turning into. Make sure you practice using the center turn lane before your DMV test so that you can earn your license and be a safe driver for decades to come. All right, all you delightful DMV data devourers, as our knowledge road trip comes to a close, I hope you found this journey both enlightening and, dare I say, mildly entertaining. Remember, the road to success in your driving endeavors involves a perfect blend of understanding the rules of the road and applying them with precision. Whether you're gearing up for the written permit test or preparing for the in-car license exam, from Permit Quiz Liz and everyone here at Drivers Ed Direct, stay curious, stay sharp, and most importantly, please stay safe out there.